What's up, guys? Giancarlo here for another video. I'm here today with my friend and training partner Juan Ayala. He's going to help me out with today's video. Guys, today we're going to talk about half guard. Okay, I want to show you guys a little half guard move using the underhook. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys how I utilized this in a match recently at the ADCC Trials. This is actually a sequence that helped me win the ADCC Trials. I used this in the finals match. Okay, and it eventually led to me taking my opponent's back. And winning the match that way. But I'm also going to show kind of a few other variations that we can use from that position itself. Okay, so the way that it happened, that I actually got to this position in the match, okay, and this is a good way that you can actually get to it, was off of a failed takedown attempt. So I'm over here on Juan. Let's say I just shot in on a single, and he's doing a good job at really making a hard sprawl, getting my head underneath his hips over here, and now there's a lot of weight and my arms are extended. There are ways that you can recover from this position, but it's really, really difficult, especially against a good wrestler, okay? And that was the case of my opponent in the match, okay? So as I was trying to walk my knees in, he was doing a good job at getting a hold of my ankle, okay? He got a hold of my ankle, and what this does is, combined with his sprawl, my arms are extended, and this takes away the drive of my legs. So if I really want to come up on a takedown, it becomes difficult here, okay? However, this is a good opportunity for you to pull into half guard, okay? How am I going to do so? Well, in the match, I pulled on his left leg, okay? But in the single leg, I got a hold of his right leg. So usually the way that we're taught to get to half guard from a single leg, if you just let go of my ankle for a second, one, is that we get in, we feel a single leg, we slide knee to knee, and then we get a hold of the waist and we start looking to get to half guard on this leg. But because he had a hold of my ankle, I couldn't pull half guard on this side, okay? I'm extended, he's got my ankle here, it's hard for me to pull half guard on that side. So what I did instead was I pulled on the other side, okay? I took advantage of this big opening. I started to kind of shuffle my knee on through, and as I sat straight in to a half guard with an underhook, okay? Now, from this position, guys, usually your opponent will put on a wizard, okay? In the case of my match, my opponent attempted to re-pummel initially to an underhook, so he tried to bring this elbow back and get to an underhook. But that was difficult just because of the position that I'm in. If Juan tries to get the underhook back, it's kind of hard, okay? Second thing that happened in my match is my opponent tried to use this hand, his right hand, to post on my neck, head, or whatever, start pushing down and staying head over head, okay? He really tried to stay head over head to prevent me from being able to come up, okay? I'm not going to say those are wrong reactions, but usually what most people will do is they'll slap on a wizard because it's the easiest thing to do, and it just completely eliminates my ability, at least for a bit, to be able to get to his back. Okay, I'm going to have to work past this wizard in order to get to my opponent's back. So what happened in the match itself was he had hands on the floor. I was shucking him forward, obviously trying to keep weight on his hands over here, and I got a hold of his waist, and I initially locked my hands over here to suck myself in nice and tight to him. Okay, from this position, what I initially intended on doing was getting a hold of his ankle, okay, and looking to feed to the other hand and come up, okay. And we'll take a look at all those options in a second. I just want to show you guys how it ended in the match. From here, I had this underhook. As I went to come up, I switched my leg over the top. As I went to come up, he kept checking me kind of with his hips, so I couldn't hang on to this ankle. Okay, so as I went to come up, when he checked me with the hip, I had to post the hand on the floor, and I noticed that his two hands are on the mat. So there's no reason why at this point here I can't start coming up and getting to his back. My opponent, being a good wrestler, as I went to pick my head up, first thing he did was, before I could lock hands, he would start fighting my hands and looking to move away. So when that happened, I came out to his back. He did what any wrestler will do, which is try to stand up on me, and then from here we ended up in this position. Okay, when he went to turn and face me, I locked the body lock, I followed, and then I went into a takedown, okay, body lock takedown, okay, which, just for sake of space, I won't go into, but that was what happened in the match. Now, in a half guard situation, 99% of your opponents, when we get to this position here, are gonna put on a whizzer. So how are we gonna deal with this? Okay, one really, really good option, okay, that I like to utilize was one that I was initially going for in the match, okay? That's what I'm gonna go show you guys here. So from this position, all I'm gonna do from here is I always wanna threaten a back and forth off balance. I always wanna threaten off balancing him to his whizzer side, okay? So from here, my half guard leg comes out, my other leg comes over the top, and we trap my training partner's ankle. Now from here, I shift my legs so that his knee comes to the floor in front of my stomach over here. And I keep my knees pointed down to the floor. Why? Because what Juan wants to do is he wants to take his knee across my hip, and then he wants to start driving across and flattening me out and kind of ruining my position here. So as I triangle my legs tightly, we point our knees down to the floor and we keep ourselves nice and tight to him here, okay? Now when he tries to bring his knee across, it's a little bit more difficult. I can keep his knee down on the floor. Okay, from here I start building up to an elbow, and then from here, what I'm gonna start to look to do is I'm gonna start to off balance him in that direction, okay? I'm gonna do this by shooting my arm underneath his leg. I could go straight under his leg and go for a traditional half guard sweep, but instead I'm gonna shoot under and I'm gonna look to get his ankle, and I'm gonna look to roll him this way, okay? I'll look to roll him this way enough that I can feed this hand, or I can feed this ankle rather, to my right hand now, okay? And I grab right along the line of his toes, okay? That makes it a lot harder for him to free this leg. Now from here, if he lets go of the whizzer, there's ways that I can take his back. But just for the sake of this technique, I'm gonna shoot under, I'm gonna get a hold of his ankle, I'm gonna feed it to that hand, and now he's gonna put the whizzer back on, and I'm gonna look to start coming up. I'm gonna pull my elbow in towards my hip, and I'm gonna start building up to my knee right here. Now, when he tries to kick the leg back and sprawl, it's super hard. He can move the knee away, but he can't move the ankle away, okay? And it becomes very easy for me now to start looking for his knee and start driving into him and sitting him down to his butt. And then from here, there's various ways we can go about passing, okay? So, one more time, just that last little bit. I'm in half guard over here with Juan. I get a hold of an underhook and he slaps on a whizzer like 99% of guys are gonna do. Now, from this position, I have the underhook. I wanna go into one of my various sweeps, okay? One that I like a lot, okay? One that I learned really early on in Jiu-Jitsu was to get a hold of this foot over here, okay? Through use of my underhook arm. So I have the underhook, I control that tight waist here, and I'm gonna look to start building up, switching my legs over here, okay? And from this position, we start to shift our legs so that his knee comes out and we just get a hold of the ankle. I keep my knees pointed down towards the floor, so when he tries to bring his knee up across my hip, it's hard. And then from here, if I can get to the ankle right away, go ahead and grab it, okay? A lot of times we're gonna have to start threatening coming up and then shoot in towards the ankle. So I shoot in, I get a little bit of an off balance, not enough for him to remove his whizzer, but just enough that I can get a hold of my training partner's toes, almost kind of like where you would grab for a toe hold. Okay, now from here, when he tries to kick that leg back and sprawl, it's super hard, okay? I tuck my elbow in towards my hip, and then from here, we're able to come up to our knees and get to this position. He tries to sprawl, he can't, we get a hold of the knee, suck the leg in towards me, and then we're able to get into body locks and various passes, etc., etc. Okay, so just a technique that I like to use. As I said before, I used a similar version. Obviously, my opponent reacted differently. It ended up in a different move entirely. But just a couple options we can use from half guard that I really like to use. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Check out my links in the description. Thanks, guys.